All right, so good morning, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. My name is Kapanda. I'm an advisor at Dev-Afrique, and I'll be the moderator for this webinar. Yeah, we welcome you all to this webinar. So we'll just request you to, those that have already joined us, to introduce yourselves via the chat. Then we'll wait for about 5 more minutes just to have more people join. Then we will immediately get started with our program for this morning. Thank you very much. Yeah, okay. Thanks very much, everyone, for once more for joining us for today's webinar. Yeah, so today's webinar is going to spotlight the MapKit, which is a web-based GIS tool that facilitates mapping, asset management, and also incident reporting to improve operational efficiency for water supply and sanitation utility companies. So as I introduce myself, for those that have joined us just now, my name is Kapanda. I'm an advisor at Dev-Afrique, and I'll be your moderator for this webinar. We are, of course, thrilled to have you join us as we explore various approaches and innovations, as well as best practices in the water sector, which are aimed at improving sanitation management across sub-Saharan Africa. Yeah, so before we continue, I would maybe just like to go through a few housekeeping rules. So we request that you have your microphones muted in order to prevent background noises, so that you'll be able to hear the presenters clearly. Then after the presentation, we'll be given an opportunity to have a Q&A session where all the participants, will be given an opportunity to ask questions to the presenters based on the presentation that will be given. The webinar, of course, is going to be recorded, and we'll make sure that we'll make it available to all you participants who have registered, so that you can have access to it after the session. Then throughout the presentation, of course, there'll be some key resources and links that will be provided, and we'll request you to just have access to those links in order for you to have additional and more information with regards to today's topic of discussion. So before we get started with the main business for today, I would just like to take you through a general overview of Dev-Afrique's work with regards to sanitation data system strengthening. So we at Dev-Afrique, we've been implementing a sanitation data system strengthening project in sub-Saharan Africa, which of course being supported by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And this project is mainly aimed at improving public data systems at municipality and utility level to enhance decision-making and also performance management, which of course generally going to culminate into improved sanitation service delivery at the local level. So the main objectives or the main targets for this project have been to improve the understanding of data systems, strengthening best practices for non-WASH data systems like health, and how those best practices can be transferred to the WASH sector to inform improved and enhanced data systems development and strengthening across the sector. Then the other objective also has been to improve understanding of the current state of non-SWOT sanitation data systems at municipality and utility level in sub-Saharan Africa, in order to understand what sort of gaps exist and put up or come up with some recommendations and interventions that can be put across to the various key actors to strengthen sanitation data systems. Then we've also been supporting and also piloting a WASH data systems maturity index that has been developed by ESAWAS and Athena, and Dev-Afrique's role rather in this work has been to help ESAWAS develop this tool that then can be used by utilities and municipalities to assess the level of maturity of the data system that they are using, so that they can understand what gaps are there and how they can strengthen their data systems for improved and enhanced service delivery. Then we've also been able to, we've also conducted a landscape assessment and also developed an inventory tool of WASH tools in Sub-Saharan Africa and also South Asia. So it's just like an inventory of all the successful WASH data tools that are currently in use across Sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia to inform the sector and also the actors to have a general overview of what systems the utilities have been using. Then, in addition to that, we've also provided technical support and also facilitated a number of cross-learning and insight sharing on data systems best practices within the sector. And of course, one of the ways we've been able to do this is through the hosting and also facilitation of these webinars, of which one of them is the what we're exactly having today. So the main objectives of the webinars, of course, have been to enhance cross-sector learning and also knowledge management with regards to sanitation data systems, and also be able to give an opportunity to the actors and also the practitioners on how or what key learnings and experiences they can learn from others from across the sector to also be able to use those initiatives to enhance sanitation data system strengthening or whatever data systems work they're implementing across within their utilities. Yeah, so having said that, of course, direct related to the last point I mentioned on facilitating cross-learning across the sector, is that we've been able to, of course, implement this webinar series, of course, in support with various sector partners like the ESAWAS as well as GWOPA, to, of course, address critical challenges and also spotlight the main tools and solutions that have been designed to close the non-sewered sanitation data gaps and also be able to tap some of the critical operational challenges and efficiencies when it comes to sanitation service delivery in Sub-Saharan Africa overall. So through this webinar series, I think we've been able to reach about 1,000 participants from over 40 countries who have been able to participate from the various webinars that we've conducted before. So overall, in total, we've conducted about 10 webinars, and this is our 11th one that we're having today. So based on the successes that we've scored from the WASH data system strengthening work with support from the Gates Foundation, Dev-Afrique has been able to transition those initiatives and momentum that we've gained into a long-term program known as the WASH Data Labs, to be able to sustain and also continue work with various stakeholders to support the initiatives of strengthening the sanitation data systems across Sub-Saharan Africa. So through these WASH Data Labs initiatives, our main mission is to, of course, continue the enhancement of public data systems and also be able to drive informed decision making and also be able to support utilities to optimize their performance management and also performance monitoring to ensure that we enhance sanitation service delivery across the sector. So the key main areas, of course, from our initiative going forward, will be able to focus on working together with the various partners and stakeholders to co-create data systems strengthening solutions that speak to their specific needs, and also champion data system strengthening best practices, as well as promote data systems knowledge exchange across the sector. Yeah, so from all these different pieces of work that we've been able to implement, of course, we've generated a number of key resources and also outputs that we would want you to obviously have a look at for detailed information on the outputs of the work that we've been able to do. So the first one is, of course, like I mentioned, we conducted a detailed non-sewered sanitation data systems landscape assessment in 10 countries in Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been able to put together a report, which we launched in February at the FASA conference in Uganda. And this report, of course, has details on all what is the status in terms of non-sewered sanitation data systems across sub-Saharan Africa, and probably some key recommendations to key actors on what actions can be taken to support utilities and municipalities to strengthen their data systems. Yeah, then over and above that, we've also been able to come up with a Rolsch tools mapping tool. This tools mapping tool, what it does is that we've been able to map the different sanitation data systems that are being used across sub-Saharan Africa and also South Asia, to just like give a general overview to the key actors or interested parties in terms of what sanitation data systems are currently in use. Just for the purpose of also informing the sector in terms of maybe those that are interested to know what others are using, to give you a general overview of these tools, their functionalities and capabilities, and probably you can also be able to make an assessment of whether such particular tool can be applicable to be applied in your scenario, in a situation, to help you solve your sanitation service delivery challenges and also overall service improvement targets. Yeah, then apart from the tools mapping as well as dashboard, we've also been able to come up with the terms of reference that the utilities or municipalities across the sector can be able to use to develop their own local-based non-sewered sanitation data system module or tool, which speaks to their specific needs and also requirements. So this terms of reference was developed, of course, with collaboration with various stakeholders through a workshop that we held in Lusaka last year, which involved, of course, municipalities, the regulators, system developers, and other key development partners. And it just gives you like a general regulatory framework in terms of what the sanitation data system should be able to do, and what its core functionalities should be able, what sort of core functionalities that the system should be able to have. So all these resources, we put them together, and they are available at the Rolsch Data Labs website, and they are free for everyone to be able to access. So you can scan the QR code, which is being displayed on this on the slide there, to have access to the various tools and also resources that I've mentioned. Yes, then of course, in addition to that, sorry, I forgot to mention, one of the other things also was that we've been able to do was the data systems maturity assessment tool, like I earlier mentioned, which is a tool that's being promoted by ESAWAS, which of course allows the utility to assess the level of maturity of the data systems and be able to give them a general idea of where they are and what sort of gaps exist in the data systems and what interventions they can put in place to strengthen the overall sanitation data systems. Yeah, so all these tools, of course, this assessment tool is available on the ESAWAS website. Everyone is also free to access it. Yeah, so having given a general overview of Dev-Afrique's work that I've been able to do beginning of last year up to now, we now move into the business for today, which is our webinar number 11, which we are aiming to spotlight the MapKit. So like I earlier mentioned, the MapKit is just basically a web-based GIS tool, of course, that has been designed to help utilities do some overall sanitation mapping and also asset management. But the focus of today's webinar will be to, of course, give you exclusive insights on what the MapKit is able to do and its core functionalities and capabilities. And we also, of course, would like to encourage and also be able to offer an opportunity to our participants to join our network of key actors and peers within the industry, to be able to, of course, forge those relationships and be able to learn from each other on the issues of data systems strengthening overall. So having said that, of course, this webinar has been organized, of course, in partnership with Rolsch Assetmanagement as well as Waternet, who are the core developers and also promoters of the MapKit. And of course, our weather partners in terms of organizing these webinars has been ESAWAS as well as GWOPA. We've been working closely with throughout the data series webinars. Yeah, the presenters for this morning will be Bernard Mwaka from Rolsch Assetmanagement, as well as Ronald Laverman, and these are going to be supported by just Vepad from Waternet. So at this point in time, I would like to pass it on to Bernard, who will be the main presenter, to take us through the presentation on the MapKit tool. Thanks very much. Over to you, Bernard.
Thank you, Kapanda. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the team that is here to talk about MapKit, Ronald, Just, and myself, we want to extend our appreciation to the organizers of this webinar for giving us the privilege to be part of this community. We are excited to be here this morning. I would start my presentation by sharing a little story about myself. Many years ago, I used to work for a water utility company in my home country. I come from Uganda, and I used to work in a department whose mandate included developing systems and applications that supported the operations of other departments within the water utility. I remember there's a moment when he had a presentation on MapKit, and I was able to attend that presentation that was being made by a team of Dutch experts. And at the end of that presentation, I quickly recognized the opportunities MapKit offered to us as a company to help us do what we are doing much more efficiently and better, but also the opportunities and that MapKit offered to us to do certain things that we are previously not able to do. So I'm hoping that today at the end of my presentation, you'll be like me of many years ago. You'll jump on the trail and see what MapKit can offer to you as a company, if you're head of a department, see certain functionalities that you could adopt from MapKit to do what you do much efficiently. Today's agenda will start by just having an introduction of what MapKit is about, some key features of MapKit, what is in MapKit. Then we'll also look at some business use cases, how some of our customers are already using MapKit in their day-to-day operations. Then it's also good to look at the future. What is in MapKit going forward? Is there opportunity to adopt new models for us, for some of our customers? So basically that would be how the presentation would look like. So MapKit is developed by a Dutch company called Rolsch Assetmanagement. MapKit has been in operation for about 13 years. And in those 13 years, the technological development of MapKit has been driven by the needs of our customers. So all the new features, all the new functionalities that we add on MapKit are driven by the needs of our customers. I think I like our business model because we don't build something and just give it to the customer and say, you've made this, find a way to work with it. But we listen to our customers, what needs do they have, then add features to support what they do. And over the 13 years or so, we have about 5,000 users of MapKit at the moment. And these users are spread across different countries, like the Netherlands, where we have water utilities that are using MapKit. You have municipalities that are using MapKit to manage their gullies. I think gullies in this example would be like your storm drain channels. So you have municipalities in Netherlands that actually use MapKit to manage that. Then you also have wastewater companies that are also using MapKit. You also have some clients in Jordan. In Uganda, we have the biggest water and drinking water and wastewater company using MapKit since 2019. And then in Nairobi, we started in 2023 using MapKit there. We also have clients in Germany and in England as well. Unlike traditional software that require users to download a setup and then run a setup, MapKit is available as a software as a service. What this means is that for our customers to use MapKit, all they need to have is a web browser, any web browser, an internet connection, and any smart device. So the smart device can be your regular laptop, a tablet, a smartphone, a desktop computer, and of course user credentials to log on to the application. We live in a day and age today where the issue of data is a very, very important subject, very, very sensitive actually. And as a company, we care about the data that our customers entrust with us. So we make sure that the data they give us, we handle it with confidentiality. And we are guided by a certification we have for data, ISO 27001. So that certification describes how we manage and deal with our data of our customers and ensure that it's kept confidential and private at the same time. In addition, MapKit also has secure login credentials. So for each of our customers, the users in those companies are given login credentials. So these login credentials are specific to the roles each of those users is able to do. So for example, if it's a water utility company and there's a user who's a plumber, then that company will let us know and say, for our plumbers, this is what you want them to access in MapKit. These are the types of reports you want them to access in MapKit. These are the type of things we want them to be able to do in MapKit. So we tailor that to suit the business needs of our customers. In that way, you ensure that users are able to only access and only use what they need to use and nothing more. In addition to data as well, we have also found out that whenever we deploy MapKit, for example, in a particular company, traditionally, find a company already has several applications it's using. Maybe it's software, maybe it's an application like a CRM system or a store system or procurement system. MapKit is able to integrate with these systems so that you have seamless flow of information. As users, you don't want a scenario where you have to do the same task in different applications. So when you have this integration possible, it ensures that exchange of information is seamless between all these applications. So it makes the experience of our customers, users much, much better. So MapKit, in order for our customers to use MapKit, we always charge an annual license fee. So our licenses are issued based on the number of customers our clients have. So for example, a company will come to MapKit and say, I have 10,000 water customers. Then we'll charge them a fee for the license based on the number of customers. The beauty of having our license is that we tailor MapKit to suit the business needs of that company. MapKit has so many functionalities, and what we've seen over the years is that when companies start, they don't start with all the functionalities of MapKit, because we understand that companies at a different growth stage. Some companies at a stage where they don't have basic GIS data. Some companies at a stage where probably their priority is asset management. Some companies at a stage where their priority is equitable distribution of water. So depending on where they are in their life cycle as a company, they can adopt the different functionalities of MapKit, and we will tailor MapKit, customize it to suit their business needs. Another advantage of having this annual license of MapKit is that our customers can add an unlimited number of users. If you have used any of these traditional softwares, you'll find out that anytime you need to add a user, you pay for more license, you pay for an extra license for that user. With our annual license with MapKit, you can add as many users as you want at no extra cost. We also offer support and training throughout the life cycle of doing business with our customers. For example, if there's need to build capacity within the users in a company, maybe you want to train trainers of trainers, we come alongside our customers and train those trainers of trainers so they can spread the gospel, so to speak, amongst the team that is at the client site. But we also have scenarios where our clients will come to us and say, could you come and do a training on this particular aspect? I think our teams are struggling with this. So we're able to come in and offer that support, like I said, throughout the entire life cycle of our license. MapKit also has several business use cases. So we're going to look at a few business use cases of how some of our clients are using MapKit to do what they do. I've tried to pick a few business use cases which are specific to African utilities, because predominantly most of our audience is from the continent. So I just picked a few use cases from some of our clients in Uganda and Kenya and what they're using MapKit for. So we'll just go through each of these use cases. Then at the end of the explanation, we'll get into a demo to see exactly how they're actually doing this. So one of the things that MapKit offers is the ability for our customers to map assets. Utilities struggle with the quality of their GIS. You find there's a lot that has been installed, but no one knows where it is. Probably it's in someone's institutional memory. Most times you find in most of these utilities, you have this one guru who has been there for 20 years, 30 years, and he has all that information in his head. Every time you want to close water at a certain section, he says, no, you go to the junction next to the traffic light. There's a valve next to a flap, or turn it in there. But we are saying with MapKit, you can have all those assets actually mapped. And for me, I think that's security for the water utility company, that you are not dependent on an individual. So MapKit offers these nice base maps that helps these customers map the assets. Like I said earlier, I used to work in a water utility company where every year we used to buy satellite images. And I think the cost per square meter was really expensive. And that item, procuring satellite images, was something that was the most expensive on our budget as a company. But with MapKit, we have these base maps available that are automatically updated by Esri or Google. So that way, that burden is taken away from our customers. They can seamlessly add these assets as and when they wish. The beauty as well is that the customers can add any custom or base maps that are specific to them. We can also add this on MapKit. We also can use MapKit to correct wrong information. For example, you find a pipe on the ground is along the road, but when you open it up, say in MapKit, you find that because it was wrongly captured, maybe in 2009 or let's say 1998, that pipe looks like it's in the road. So what our customers are able to do is to still use MapKit to add a sketch, correct that pipe, download the sketch, get into their GIS and update that pipe. Another use case we'll be looking at is incident reporting. I mean, all utilities, whether it's wastewater, municipality, have incidents that are of interest to them. So working with our customers, we're able to identify what incidents do they want to capture and monitor on MapKit. One of those incidents that most of our customers measure is leaks. So using MapKit, they're able to report the leakages. MapKit helps them, first of all, to know exactly where to report the leakages. MapKit has a GPS button. If I'm out there in the field as a team or as a plumber and I see a leakage, using MapKit, I can press that button. It shows me exactly where I am, because it's important that you report these instances in the right place. So MapKit allows users to correctly report those locations, upload pictures to show the leakage. And I believe they say pictures speak more than words, isn't it? So when you have those pictures uploaded, it helps as well the teams that are going to respond to the leakages to know the magnitude of the leakage, but also what materials to go with the leakage. With MapKit, after the leakage has been reported, we also have tools that allow navigation. So for example, if I'm a plumber in the office, the job has been reported, and I want to go to where that incident is reported. MapKit has buttons of navigation that have street view and one that opens to Google Map. So it will take you from where you are to where the leakage is, making that experience easy. In the past, before the company I used to work with, before MapKit came, you probably need to call the person who reported the leak and say, hey, I saw you reported this leakage here. Could you direct me to where it is? But with these navigation tools in MapKit, I call it, that inconvenience is totally taken away. So you seamlessly reach out to this and attend to them. One of the intelligences that MapKit also provides is that once the plumber is now on the ground, he has exposed the pipe, he has seen where the leakage is, he can use MapKit advises which valves do you need to close in order to fix the repair. And this advice is based on the idea that you want to have the least impact on the customers around there. So MapKit will show the plumber on MapKit that these are the valves you need to close, and this will give you the least impact on customers who are not having the water while the repairs are being effected. And as all of this is happening, all users within the company can log on to MapKit, see what is happening when the leak was reported, who's responding to the leak, and also teams that work with customer care, maybe call center, can easily update the customers and say, well, the leakage you reported in the morning, our teams on ground have seen they've repaired, Could you confirm that the repair has been done? All of this is backed up with evidence. Another example of what we also track is reporting wastewater related incidents. So you can also register things like a sewer overflow, a broken manhole cover. All those is also possible on that side of wastewater. Another business use case that our clients are able to do is the aspect of asset management. So using MapKit, our customers can incorporate their own inspection schedules on MapKit, and they're able to track as these assets are checked. Is the fire hydrant working? Is it correctly working? Is it, first of all, is it findable? Because you might find in your data, it shows that this location there's a fire hydrant, but when someone goes to actually check if it works, they'll find probably it was buried or it was damaged. So with those inspection plans, our users can track and see how these assets are being maintained by their different teams. MapKit also has the ability to give our customers risk-based inspection schedules. These are based on these prioritized repairs and ensure that work is being done in an optimal way. And while the teams go on and assessing the condition of the valves, the fire hydrants, the manholes, they are color coded. So this color coding is done in such a way that when you have, for example, a manhole flagged green, you'll be able to see the attributes who went there and that it functions correctly. If there's something not working with the fire hydrant or the manhole, it will also be given a different color. A big one for me here is the ability you want to see what your teams are doing. I think one of the things that has been lacking over the years is to be able to track that the work being done by technical people. And by technical people, I mean people like plumbers, people like engineers. I mean, they go out there, they do a lot of things, but it's hard to track what they do. So MapKit also offers that ability that as these teams are working in the field, they're maybe doing repairs, reporting leakages, fixing manholes that are blocked. All of this is captured in forms of reports and dashboards that, for example, someone in HR can actually look at and see how the teams are working in the field. We have one of our clients who's using such a report in doing appraisals of their staff at the end of their contract. You'll go to MapKit, look at how you've been doing over the length of your previous contract, and use that as a baseline to see if you offered a new contract or not. And I like that because it takes away subjectivity and bias, and you're guided by numbers, which is really, really a good thing. We'll now dive into a demo to look at some of those business use cases, and let's see if what I've said actually is true. So one of the business use cases I talked about was the idea around mapping of assets. So I'm going to simulate an example here where you're adding a wastewater line that is on the ground but not mapped. I talked about earlier that MapKit has several base maps. As you can see here, our users can switch between different base maps to do what they want to do, which I think is really, really helpful. So it doesn't matter what caliber of technical expertise someone has, they can still find their way. But for purposes of adding information, we try to use the satellite map or the SV images because they provide better context. So using MapKit, we have a button here that is called the sketching button, where that brings this window, as you can see here. So if, for example, I want to add information, I'll probably call this unupdated data. I'll probably write the address. Maybe this is Kingsland, just assume that. And then you have all these different buttons of what you can draw. So for the manholes, it's that button. I'll select. Maybe the first manhole is here at that junction. Get the next manhole. Maybe the next one is over here. And maybe the third one is right here. In addition to the manholes, you want to add the pipes. So using MapKit still, the user will get the pipe, get the icon for drawing the pipe. Maybe it connects to this is an icon for an existing sewer manhole. The brown lines you see here are the existing sewer pipes that are already mapped. So I'll connect there and connect there. The user enters the attributes. Maybe this is a ductile iron. The shape of the pit is round, and then maybe the diameter of the pipe is, I'd say, maybe 250 millimeters. You can also specify the content and say it's just wastewater. Go on to the next pipe, draw it. Still fill in that same information. I'll assume it's still ductile iron. The manhole is round in shape. You can see we have all sorts of options to fill in there. And the diameter is still 250 as well. And the content is wastewater. Go to the last one as well. Draw the last pipe from here to here. Fill in the information. It's ductile iron. Shape is round. Diameter is 250 millimeters. The content is wastewater. For the pits as well, you can fill in the information. It's a manhole. It's wastewater. It's a manhole. Wastewater. Manhole. Wastewater. Once the user is done with adding this information, you save and confirm sketch. So confirm sketch, what confirm sketch does is that if you have within a water utility a GIS office, MapKit will send this particular update as an incoming entry for that department to access this data. So if, for example, I work in the GIS department, within MapKit we have a tray here where they're able to go to. We call it follow-up. So you have follow-up for all sorts of things, but for sketches, we have specifically sketches, and we're able to find that particular sketch. It should be this one. Just give me a second. I need to know what branch this is. This is industrial area. Now, this is for one of our clients. They subdivided their service area into different zones. So you see, that's why you have that naming there. So if I go back to follow-up, and I go back and look for industrial area, for example, which is this one. I just turn this off. You see the sketch I added is right here. You can see here, added by Bernard Mwaka. So the person in the GIS is able to look at what I did. And if they're happy with what I did, they can download the sketch, as you can see, in any coordinate system that that particular client works with, and is able to update this in their GIS system. So this is one of the things that our users are able to do. The other aspect is to do with incident reporting. So we'll also have an example. We'll also have another example of a leakage. So I talked about reporting a leakage, for example. So for example, imagine I'm out there, maybe I've gone for lunch with my colleagues. I work with this water company and I have MapKit on my smart device. So maybe as I come out of the restaurant, I see that there's a leakage here, isn't it? So using MapKit still, there's an icon up here that has reporting. So when I select reporting, I say maybe the leakage is opposite this building. I'll drop it there. I'll enter the type of report. It's a leakage, report address. So maybe the Winton Road. It's a leakage opposite KFC restaurant. Right. You save. MapKit will ask you, I put the location. The user saves. Because me who's coming from having lunch from KFC, I'm not so sure what pipe the leakage is, so I just leave it there. So after I've reported, as you can see here, it gives me this window where I can attach a photo. So I'll get my smart device, take pictures, and attach the photos. I'll pick one of these photos, save it. So I can add as many photos as I want. So a user can add many photos as I want. So at this juncture, me who had gone for lunch at KFC, I've done my report as a responsible staff of this water company. I've reported. Now it's up to them. So just like we saw with the sketches, this goes also into an incoming entry for the engineer who's maybe or the supervisor or the person in charge of managing leaks that are reported. So if they go to that follow-up still, they're able to go to MapKit, look for reports. Where's reports? Unresolved reports, drinking water. And if you go at the bottom of that list, you should be able to see the leak I reported. Today is 17th of July. So if I'm the engineer now in the office, I can open this, or if I'm somewhere in the field, I can open this, look at the job, look at the picture that Ben had reported, and maybe decide what materials I need to send my team with to go and actually repair this leakage. So if I'm now the plumber and maybe my supervisor has given me this job, I'll go to MapKit, look up this job. When I find it, and maybe I'm somewhere else in the field and I don't know this location, using these navigation buttons, like I said, they help you to take you where you are. So if I select this, for example, MapKit redirects you to Google Maps, as you can see. Then it will allow the user to pick, are you driving, are you walking, are you using a bicycle, from where you are to where the leakage is. I'm using a laptop, so the location is not so accurate like on a smart, and I think I disabled it. So the user is able to, the plumber is able to navigate from where they are to where the leakage is. The other navigation button I talked about is this one that has a street view option. So it also helps the plumber to see where the leakage has been reported, where it looks like, so that in the event they get there, they should be really at the spot that the leak was reported. After the plumber has now reached on site, the next thing you want is that you expose the area around the leakage. So the plumber will dig around here, and after he has ascertained that the leakage was on this pipe, so when he selects this pipe, he says it's a 4-inch pipe, and he confirms that's where the leakage is. Still on MapKit, the plumber uses MapKit and drags this report onto the pipe. Using MapKit, he will select this icon and drag the report to indicate that the leakage is on the 4-inch pipe, as you can see right now. So you see that is now linked to the history of this pipe. I talked about earlier that MapKit has the intelligence that helps this plumber to know which valves do I need to close. So when the plumber selects this pipe and goes to MapKit and says, hey MapKit, can you show me which valves I need to close? MapKit will suggest and say you have these 2 valves, and as you can see, the highlighted one is at the corner, one is at the corner here, and say these are the valves you need to close in order to do repairs on this pipe. So the plan, and also the beauty like I talked about, is that MapKit documents any closures. So as you can see in the history of this particular section of pipe, in the past there was a closure in 2023, and also another closure, 2 closures in 2023. And even this closure, that if the plumber does that closure, that is actually documented. So physically the plumber will go on the ground, close these valves, these 2 valves, in order to repair the leakage. But also on MapKit, the plumber goes on MapKit, you can close the valve now, or you can, if you close it at a different time, you can still choose here and close. So let's say he has closed it and say, what is the reason why you're closing the pipe? As you can see, there's so many reasons why the pipe is being closed. So for this example, it's for leakage. You'll select leakage and clearly see MapKit has closed off that section of the pipe. So even if I'm the CEO of the company in the office, I'm able to see through here. If you see here, it will show you closures. It shows you that somewhere on the Winton Road, there's a closure that is affecting about 37 customers. I think that's very useful information when you're managing a business to know some of these things. So once the plumber has done that, he'll expose the pipe, effect the repairs. The next thing is, after he has done the repairs, is that he wants to document what he has done, but also open this section of the valve. Sorry, this section of the pipe. So he goes to MapKit still, review the pipe, and he will enter what he did. I'll say, well, I repaired the pipe. Clearly see, because I've logged in as Bernard. So if I'm the plumber who has been assigned the job, it takes my name, the date and time I'm now making that report, the job number, the material of the pipe. This is also editable in case I change it. If I maintain the same, I'll keep it that way. Then I'll say it's on a pipe. The point leak, because of the defect, maybe there was traffic load on the pipe. If you don't know what caused this, you say not traceable. If there's no crater that was formed, they select none. Then they can also put the depth of the pipe. Maybe it's 3 feet, and maybe leak repaired by Bernard and team. They also go ahead to attach pictures, just like pictures were attached at the beginning. We also, using MapKit, the plumber is also able to attach pictures to show what they did. So I'll go pick a picture, open it, add it there, assuming this is a picture. Now, for some of our clients, they're interested in also documenting the materials that the plumbers actually used in doing the work. So I'll also simulate that. So maybe I use the pipe. Put the pipe. Maybe it's a 4-inch pipe, so I'll put 4-inch, and maybe it was a PVC. This one, and maybe I used 1.8 meters of the pipe. Maybe I also used some straight connectors as well. Pick the straight connectors. Maybe I used 1. So they're also able to register all the materials I've done for the job. After I've done, you'll save. I selected a button somewhere that I shouldn't have selected, but I just fill in this for now. And now this option is for works that need restatement. For example, if someone has had to cut a section of tarmac and there's need for someone else to come after to do reinstatement work. So using MapKit, that is also possible. Someone can enter those dimensions of what portion of tarmac they cut while they are repairing the leakage. Just fill in this. Yeah. So clearly see right now is that the leakage has turned from red to green, implying that it has been repaired. And if you see the status also shows resolved. The last bit, because we had closed the valves, we need to open the valves using MapKit as well as in the ground. So after the plumber has opened the valves in the ground, he also opens a section. They say open all valves, and clearly see the valves have been opened and the leakage has been repaired. And also the report that requires reinstatement works is also documented there. The other aspect that I also wanted us to look at was the idea around documenting the inspection reports. I talked about that within MapKit, it's possible that our customers can include or incorporate their own inspection plans and see how their teams are actually inspecting the assets over time. So this is an example of one of those graphs that you can use to inspect progress of repairs. So this is for manholes, for example. Maybe a company says that by December we want to inspect all of our manholes, maybe about 4,000 of them. So as the teams are working in the field, you can see, for example, in January here, that plan to assess condition of about 344. They realized 0. The planned cumulative and also to do. So it keeps giving you that idea. So as the months move on, you're able to see how much are we doing as a team. So I'm going to show an example on how these inspections are done using MapKit. So if I'm part of that team that does the inspections and I've been given this job to do, and to go and inspect the manholes. So I'll go using, maybe I've gone with my motorcycle or a vehicle and I've reached the ground, use the GPS icon here on MapKit to show me where I am. And it has indicated this is where I am. So if I look on the data, it shows there's a manhole. So I walk there, is the manhole there. So when I select the manhole as I've done here, when I go to MapKit, because I've logged in as me, it will take my name, the date and time I've logged in. I'll enter a job number if it's there, then fill in this form. Now this form is customized relative to what our different clients are able to do. So you have a form like this, will ask the plumber, is the fire hydrant, is the manhole findable? If it's there, you'll say yes. If you say no, you see it takes away the other fields, because if it's not findable, then there's no business filling in. And maybe they'll write a comment that I'll just use this as one and say manhole probably buried. I want you to notice what happens to the color of the manhole. Instantly becomes red. But also in the history of that manhole, it will show you that on 17th July 2025, a certain individual called Bernard Mwaka did an inspection on that manhole. I'll use another example here of another manhole to just say if it's findable. So for example, is it findable? I'll say yes. Is it reachable? Yes. I'll say maybe it's yeah, it's fine. It's also okay. Accessibility, I'll say probably the cover is stuck. After it opened the cover, it's stuck. The environment, I'll say it's in the pavement. The location, I'll put the road name if it's available. Because I've seen the manhole, I should be able to see also the material of the cover. I'll say probably it's steel. Then just check this, do this, and attach photos as well. So the same way we attach photos for reporting incidents, even with this we can attach photos. So I'll go ahead, choose photos, attach the photo, just allow me to use this photo and save the photo. So you're able to report this and document the condition of this manhole. And as you can see, this one also has a different color. The color changes based on what has been reported. So this one is a purple green, showing this. If the cover cannot be opened, then really you cannot operate that manhole. So this is how this assessment is done. And if you go back to this graph that I showed here about maintenance progress, just want you to have a look at this. This particular one, we are in July, isn't it? Yeah, you're able to see that you have realized one because of the ones you've worked on, and so you're able to track as the teams work in real time and see what they're doing. I also shared that one of the other things that MapKit is able to do is to track. Before I move on from that, if you look at this particular client's data as well, you see all these assets are colored differently based on what has been found here. So these are, for example, like you have like a valve, and you can see the history. A certain gentleman went there in July 2019. This is what they did, and someone else went there. So because the condition of this asset is something that you plan over every year, because there are certain assets that you need to maybe check on every year because they're very critical. So you have these regular work schedules to check the condition of these assets. So you have all that history is kept there. All that history is kept there, and who actually did the work. So you're able to see as well this particular example. Different users have gone there and they attach the photos, and you can see this particular air valve is working well. The last business use case I want us to talk about is the idea around managing your workforce. So I'll use an example from one of our clients' data, as you can see here. So they have different metrics they want to measure. You can see they're abbreviated here, but the explanations are down here. You have air valve assessments, you have non-revenue water, you have exposed pipes, you have valves that are open or closed, you have leakages that are fixed, you have sewer defect, you have fire hydrant assessment. So you can go back in history, for example, different years since they started 2019, and see how someone has actually been evolving. So we'll go to 2020. And also you can go to a specific month, you can go to the whole year, you can go to a particular week in a month, you can go to a particular day, and able to see what these teams are doing. Now, this particular client has divided their service area into smaller polygons called branches. So if I'm the manager, say, of this particular branch, I can go to that branch and see what my teams have done. If you can see, yeah, if they've done nothing that day and they said, well, they did, I'm also able to check on this and see this. So I feel this is really helpful in terms of managing the productivity of your staff. Another report that is useful is something we call defect response time. So this particular client uses a KPI of quickly responding to leakages that have been reported to their plumbers. So if you want to see the productivity of every plumber, you can go to a plumber, for example, and maybe select a region and say, I don't want to see for the whole company. I'm maybe a manager of this branch called Bunga. I want to see how my plumbers have been working in a particular month or in a whole year. You can okay switch this from a year. So you're saying 2002 in March. So I'm able to see that my employees, for example, Allen did one job that took about all these hours to repair. So it also gives you an insight on how your teams are actually working. Another report that is also available to some of our clients is the idea to register materials. So you can see there's a report here. I said earlier for the leakages, as they are being repaired, the materials are documented. So you can actually go in a particular year, month, see which materials your teams are using the most for O&M operations. It helps you to plan what to procure, but also it helps you to give you an idea if there's wastage. So for example, if it is a particular branch that is requesting, I don't know, 5,000 straight connectors, and you're able to see from here that maybe on a monthly they're using just 1,000, then you big question and say, what do you do with the rest of the 4,000? So all these reports are available to our customers. But like I said, all these features are driven by the needs of our customers. So you might find there's another customer who's not really interested in measuring that aspect. But I was just sharing, that's what you get a feel of what is really, really possible. So those are the use cases that we are able to do in MapKit. A few of them, there's really much more, but for the interest of time and just letting you have an idea, allow me to just share a few of those. So in terms of looking to the future, one of the things that we're excited about is being part of its community of Non-Sewered sanitation. It looks a very, very interesting sector to actually grow into, and it's something we've thought about. We've been learning more about it. So I think already having worked with wastewater already, I think there's a few ideas that we can learn from, and also learn from you who are already working in this particular sector. And I think there's potential to develop a module in MapKit that actually speaks to the non-sewered sanitation part of business. So maybe you're interested in what type of incidents do you want to measure? Do you want to measure where the MTS are picking the waste from? Do you want to measure where the delivery is made? I don't know what aspects about non-sewered sanitation is measured, but it's something that we can look into and discuss and be able to build a module for that, so that we can actually reach out to the non-sewered sanitation part of business. Another thing that we are able to do in MapKit going forward is currently most of our customers use GIS like ArcGIS or ArcGIS Pro to process and update their GIS. But what we already have as MapKit for some of our clients is that they're not using GIS, so they use MapKit as the GIS, especially for the wastewater customers. So when they add, for example, a wastewater pipe and a manhole using MapKit, they update that sketch using MapKit directly onto the shapefile on MapKit. So for the future, one of the things we are working at is to look at the drinking water industry to see if we can also do that, if any of our customers are interested, because that will reduce the annual cost associated with paying for the GIS licenses. So we're also trying to be forward thinking and try to have a solution that appeals to our customers, because I believe every business is interested in saving costs. So if you can offer that to our customers, I think we are happy to do that. And so they can use that money to grow the other aspects of their business. At the beginning, I said, I hope that at the end of my presentation, you'd have been like me, jumped into the MapKit train. I hope you've seen possibilities of what MapKit can do. I know you've showed a few functionalities, but I can tell you MapKit is a powerful tool if you want to really be efficient in how you manage your assets, manage your different workflows. MapKit is able to do that and make your experience as an organization, as a company, much, much better. From our experience, you have seen the companies that go on to actually accrue great value from MapKit is the ones that go and learn about the different functionalities of MapKit. One of the things is, as the companies get to use MapKit more and more, they understand that, oh, we could actually adopt this functionality into our workflows, and that helps those businesses to become more efficient, save costs, and generate more revenue. MapKit has more than what I've showed. MapKit can be used to monitor water quality, so you can record your brown water complaints, and MapKit will advise you how to clean the sections within your service areas. So it will advise the teams the same way I showed you how it advises on the valves to operate. MapKit is able to show the teams as well that in order to clean this area that has had reports of brown water, this is how to clean this section. And as it cleans the sections, they change color from red to green, implying that now this area now has clean water, it has been cleaned. We also have dashboards. All these dashboards are specific to the KPIs of the different water companies. So a company lets us know these are the KPIs we're interested in. Then we'll make reports and dashboards that speak into the needs of that particular company. We also have something we call area assessment. So area assessment is basically dividing the service area of that customer into different polygons, and then they're able to measure how certain variables change over time. For example, if I want to look at the idea of customer minutes lost. So customer minutes lost is the number of minutes a customer takes without water, maybe when there's a leakage or there's a burst or there's a closure. So when you have that area assessment, you're able to see over this polygon, what is the customer minutes looking like over this period, over this month, over this year. It's also possible in MapKit to have groundwater measurements done and recorded and managed, just like we've looked at the other incidences. And also one of the things that excites me about MapKit is the ability for MapKit to integrate with smart valves. So we have some of our clients that have smart valves that they run. So using MapKit, we have a particular client that has a sensor that they mount on the valve keys, and that sensor speaks to MapKit. So as the plumber is turning that valve key, MapKit will, if the plumber turns it too quick, MapKit will warn them and say, hey, you're opening the valve too quick, you might create a water hammer that will affect the network. I feel that's really, really smart. So it helps the plumber as he's opening the valve to really open it in a way that doesn't create water hammer that really, water hammers create leaks and bursts. So the plumber is helped, but also with that functionality, it will also show the plumber that for this valve, to open it, you need maybe turn it anti-clockwise or clockwise, and to open it, maybe you need 5 turns to open it. To close it, you need 5 turns to close it. So all that information is available, and I think it enhances the experience of these field teams as they work. And if our clients are happy, we are so happy. So thank you. Those are some of the concluding remarks I have for MapKit. But then lastly, if you are curious to learn more about MapKit, if you're curious to see how you can adopt MapKit in your business, if you're curious, Bernard, I've heard about MapKit. Could we adopt it in our workflow? Is it possible to adopt it in this workflow? We are excited and happy to hear from you. You can visit our website, www.rolsch.nl, and you're able to see some of the things we are doing there. But also, if you want to call us, you want to send an email, all this information is available, and we'll promptly respond to your queries, and hopefully have a good, happy ending. Thank you so much for listening to us this morning. Over to you, Kapanda.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bernard, for that insightful presentation, giving us a general overview on the functionalities and capabilities of the MapKit tool. Yeah, I think one of the things maybe to send back to the audience is the fact that I think MapKit is has very robust asset management capabilities, which I see a lot of value addition even when it comes to non-sewered sanitation service delivery. So yeah, of course, the fact that it's able to do like comprehensive mapping of assets will be very useful, of course, even in terms of sanitation service delivery, non-sewered sanitation service delivery, especially on the fact that most of the utility and municipalities need to know what sort of non-sewered sanitation facilities they are dealing with for them to be able to design better services that will respond to servicing those particular facilities. So yeah, it can be very much applicable in maintaining the sanitation, non-sewered sanitation databases for the utilities, and also being able to help the service providers to navigate and be able to locate where these facilities are and be able to provide the services more efficiently and effectively. Yeah, so thanks very much. At this particular point in time, we'll take a quick 5 minutes break. Then when we come back, we'll go into the Q&A session. Thanks very much. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Yeah, so we'll go straight into the Q&A session for the webinar. So initially, the audience's mics were muted to allow for non-interruption during the presentation, but however, I think your mics have been unmuted to allow you a chance to ask your questions. We've received a number of reactions in the chat. So I would like at this particular time to give opportunities to the people that have asked questions on the chat to ask them verbally, or if not, I will just go ahead and read them so that the presenters can respond. So feel free just to raise your hand to those that have dropped their questions in the chat if you don't want to speak through your question yourself. Okay, so maybe I'll just go through the questions that we've received and gathered from the chat. So the first question is from Arun. He would like to find out the contact details for the system developers for the MapKit 2. I think which Bernard already did share in the slide, the last slide there, but probably you can just give more details on how you can be contacted if somebody needs more details. And then also, you would also like to know what are the costs for acquiring the MapKit 2, and probably if there are also any annual subscription costs that would have to be incurred, or it's a once-off cost. So I'll pass it on to either Bernard or to respond to that question.
Muted. I thought I'd unmuted. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Kapanda. I was saying in response to the question from Arun, I think, about how we can be contacted. I think that information was shared in the last slide, but still I've posted it in the chat. So those are phone numbers, and that's also an email that anyone interested in finding out more about MapKit can reach out to us and understand what we're about, or if there's anything else we need to discuss. We're open to talk about that.
Okay, then there's a question on costs.
There was a question about the cost, isn't it? What are the costs?
Yes, so maybe Ronald or yourself can handle it.
Okay.
Was that a question for me for the costs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it depends on how many connections you have, but the range is approx for a small municipality. It is about 20K a year, till a big one like Nairobi or Kampala, that you're about 70 to 80K a year. But that is including all the users what you have. What Bernard told, it is independent how much users you want to have on MapKit. So it is just a fixed amount a year. And it's also dependent on which models you want to have. If you only choose drinking water, that is a part of the license fee. If you want to combine it with the sewer stuff, it is an extra fee. So, and Kampala chose 4 boats, so they have a total amount of approx 75 a year. So that is what that is the range what you have to expect from the cost. And it's in euros.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe just clarify if there's any additional like software acquisition costs, like initial setup costs that would have to be incurred over and above the annual subscription cost of fees.
It is a total amount. It is MapKit is a SaaS application. It's software as a service. You don't need any ICT department, or we do all. So there is no need to do some software installation. You buy functionality on the internet, and yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, then we also had a question from Patrick. Yeah, I think he was also asking about the cost, so which has already been tackled. Then Timothy from Erua, I think, has a number of questions. The first one reads, can MapKit be used to generate a consolidated report covering multiple utility or service providers to support decision-making by policymakers and regulators? Then the second one is, does MapKit support offline functionality, enabling users to access maps, perform analysis, and generate reports even in environments with limited or no internet connectivity? Then the third one is, during your presentation, you mentioned that the license fee is based on the number of customers. Could you kindly provide more details on the fee structure, including how the pricing scales with customer numbers? Then the last one is, can you clarify which type of server or hosting infrastructure MapKit uses to store user data? Specifically, is the data stored on cloud-based server, on-premises infrastructure, or through a third-party provider? So there's a question on the costs, I'm sure, which you can just reiterate more, maybe give more details on the cost structure, but I'm sure maybe it has already been adequately tackled. Then there are issues of data hosting, whether it's in the cloud or on-site premises infrastructure. Then also, can it be integrated with other system users, maybe that are used by policymakers and regulators? And also, does it have offline capability in terms of offline functionality as a system as a whole? So over to you, Bernard. And
thank you, Timothy, for your questions. Oh, okay. Ronaldo, go first. Yeah.
Oh, no problem. Talk about the offline functionality we have, but we not often use it really much. For example, in the Netherlands, there is a good internet, but if you use MapKit just in the field, and there is, for example, a few seconds no internet, all data is cached in your browser, and he is automatically waiting for the internet after half an hour or something. Then it's automatically synchronized all data what you have registered into the MapKit database. So our experience is there is no problem, or there's not really a need to have an offline MapKit. But we have, but it is not really used. And also in Africa, in Kampala, it was, till now, it is not really a big problem, isn't it, Bernard?
Yeah, it's not really a big problem so far. The internet connectivity has been fine. Yeah.
okay.
Then
Go ahead, Bernard.
there was also a question about the ability to add consolidated reports from multiple utility or service provider. Like I said, our business model is driven by the needs from our customers. So if it's something that a customer mentions and they want to do, we are open to discuss and understand what aspects of those reports from those different providers they would want to incorporate on MapKit. And I think we are able to generate those reports that meet the needs of that customer. Thank you.
Okay.
Then regarding the infrastructure on which we host MapKit, MapKit is hosted on a cloud server. That's where all the data is securely kept.
Okay, thank you very much. So there's a follow-up question from Aaron who would like to know about if you provide capacity building to the users, like post-implementation support and capacity building to the users after the system has been deployed.
All right, let me go ahead. I did mention in my presentation is that once we have deployed MapKit on site for a particular customer, we don't abandon. We are not like parents who abandon the baby. We stay with the child until they grow and mature. So we stay with our customers throughout the life cycle of MapKit being with them. And like I mentioned, as needs arise, as training needs arise, we're able to come in as and when the client requests it, and we're able to provide it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So maybe just an announcement that we've posted in the chat also a number of links to some of the resources that we've been speaking to, but specifically there's a link to a detailed learning brief on the MapKit in case you need further information on the function, on the system functionality and capabilities. So you can just click on that link. It will take you to the learning brief on this MapKit too. Thank you. So yeah, we would like to open it up for further questions from the audience. If you have any questions, please feel free to bring them on board by either raising your hand to speak through the microphone, or you can just simply post the question in the chat. Okay, so maybe a question maybe from my side. Yeah, I see you in your presentation, you mentioned that one of the functionalities that MapKit has is that it's able to help the utility be able to detect leakages or report leakages. I think these are related both to water supply and also storage services. But I would like to know whether this reporting of the leakages is only supposed to be done by the utility workers, or even the general public have got a provision for them to report these leakages through the MapKit to the service provider, because I'm sure these are the ones that are more closer to the infrastructure in the communities where the infrastructure is laid, and probably they'll be the first persons or first people to notice any leakages along the line or any issue that would like to be reported or brought to the attention of the utility. So is there provision and possibility of like the general public and the households to assist in reporting of these incidences and leakages through the MapKit tool?
Thank you, Kampanda, for the question. What you've seen with most of our clients is that they have CRM systems, for example, where customers will call and say there's a leakage on road X, and the call center agents are able to log that job onto their CRM systems. And because of the integration that we said is possible, MapKit is integrated with the CRM system. So as that job is created by that call center agent in their CRM system, that job is automatically plotted on MapKit at the location the customer has described. So in some cases, the call center will ask the customer, is it at your premise, is it on your road? So depending on what information they're able to gather from the customer, that information all comes to MapKit. If it's a location that is known, that leakage is plotted on MapKit at the location. If it's a generic reporting, for example, if a customer calls and says, hey, I was driving to work and there's a leakage on Bernard's Road. I mean, Bernard's Road is a stretch of, let's say, 5 kilometers. Where on Bernard's Road, we do not know. So those type of jobs, when they come on MapKit, they are flagged in a certain tray. We call it unlocated reports. So for every branch, like if I use one of our clients, like in Kampala, they divide their service area into branches. So in that tray, those jobs that don't have an exact location are categorized based on branches. So now if I'm the branch engineer, say of branch A, I'll go to that tray, look at the leakage reported by customer Bernard saying there's a leakage on Bernard's Road, isn't it? So I'll give it to one of my plumbers. and say, hey, go drive with your motorcycle on Bernard's Road. The customer said there's a leakage. So the plumber will go on Bernard's Road, ride along Bernard's Road. When they find the leakage on that road, they go on MapKit, pick up that job and drop it on the canvas on MapKit at the exact location where that job is, and thereafter repair it, document the materials, and the job is closed. And once it's closed, MapKit sends information back to that CRM system saying this job that was sent by A has been repaired by plumber X, and these are the details of the job. Then the call center agent is able to call Ronald and say, hey, Ronald, you reported in the morning, the leakage has been repaired. So that's how you've been really managing that particular aspect. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much. Yeah, so we also have used Vibat from Waternet, who was like an end user of the MapKit too. So we'd just like to bring you on the spot, just if you have any user experiences that you'd want to share with the audience, as somebody that has been using the MapKit too for quite some time. Anything that you'd like to share?
Maybe before yours comes in, I just also wanted to add to that last example, Kapanda, about the public reporting. In Uganda, for example, we have the fire department of the police that uses MapKit actually to know which fire hydrants to use to fight fire. So within MapKit, you created a special login credentials for the Uganda Police Fire Department, that when there's a fire, they'll look at MapKit at the location where the fire has been reported, see which fire hydrants are available, which of them are functional, and then they're able to use those fire hydrants to fight the fire. Thank you. Just wanted to add that in relation to what you had asked earlier.
All right. No, thanks very much for that wonderful response. Just are you able to come in, provide some user experience perspective? Thanks.
Yes, I can share something. Thank you so much, Kapanda and Bernard and Ronald. Bernard, for spreading the gospel of MapKit. For me, I would shortly like to highlight that we have a community of practice on asset management through GWOPA, the Global Water Operators Partnership Alliance. I will send something in the chat if you have any questions later on, or you want to read or learn some more about content of asset management. You can please register as a GWOPA member. And then from my experience, I work in Amsterdam with MapKit, and I've joined Bernard in some capacity building exercises in Nairobi, which was a great honor. And I think just maybe a small story to share, which I really liked during the experience of using and applying MapKit in Nairobi, is that usually you have these very experienced senior staff members who operate in the field, and they know all the system, they know it by head. So if there's any leakage, they call this one guy who's been working maybe in the area of Kilimani for 20 years every time. Okay, we have a leakage here. Which valve do we need to operate? And he tells them on the phone. And at the beginning, you find them a bit hesitant to apply a new system. But if you have a conversation and you ask him, oh, okay, but what happens if you go on holiday? Do they still know which valve to operate? He says, they'll still call me when I'm on holiday. Actually, I'm really never like fully mentally on holiday. I said, oh, that's interesting. And what happens if you retire? Yeah, they'll still call me when I retire. And having this conversation, you find out that it's also in his interest to train young people, to map the assets, to find them in the field. And in the end, he turned out really enthusiastic and pro MapKit. So that's one of the experiences that I really valued. And I support Bernard's story in spreading the gospel. So thank you very much, Kapanda.
Thanks very much for sharing that user perspective experience. So we have another question on the chat. It says, MapKit is very expensive and certainly will generate an interest. MapKit is very impressive and certainly will generate an interest in our sector. So I think it's just a comment to you, the system developer, that people are already seeing the potential of application of MapKit, and also the value addition that it can bring to changing the overall sanitation service, or also water supply and sanitation service delivery landscape, especially at the municipality and utility level. So there's some exciting interest, and which is of course commendable. It just demonstrates the value that your tool is able to offer to the utilities as well as municipalities. Is there any other questions, please, from the audience? Okay, so it seems everything has been very clear. We still have like some 20 more minutes to go to the end of the webinar. So if there's no further questions, then probably we'll be happy to give you back some time so that you can go on with the rest of the day. But before we do that, I would just like maybe to give some general wrap-up overview of what we've talked about today. I think one of the most exciting insights that I've picked from this is that is to do with the asset mapping, I think, which is very crucial for water utility companies, and also as it provides and gives a comprehensive, I think, visual presentation of their infrastructure, including things like pipes, valves, pumps, treatment plants, which of course is very important in making sure that the utility is able to track the condition, the age, the location, and also the functionality, overall functionality of the asset. I think this is also very important in facilitating proactive maintenance and also replacement of the asset as and when it is required. But over and above, I think it's also very important in terms of enhancing operational efficiency. Like we've heard in terms of how the tool can help you to quickly identify any issues that are there, be it leakages or any technical issue to do with any asset, and how quickly it can help you to respond to that particular issue. Of course, reducing downtime and also improving service delivery and reliability. But also what's important also, I think, is that it can also help the utilities to ensure compliance to regulatory standards. One of the important aspects I picked also is the fact that I think the tool is able to help you track the productivity levels of your staff or your maintenance team. So of course, which speaks to some of the KPIs that regulators, I think, look for, especially on issues to do with how quickly are they able to resolve customer complaints and leakages. So you are able as a utility to track in real time how effective you are doing in terms of responding to issues on the ground quickly, which also I think can help reporting to the regulators in terms of compliance. So which is very important. But also I think, the data also I think it can also contribute to, of course, driving decision making and providing some valuable insights for planning, maintenance, and also infrastructure development overall. So before we close, we'd just like to go through some next steps. So of course, we'd like to thank you for the engaging discussions that we've had today. I'm moving forward. We just would like to invite you to, of course, visit the Rolsch Data Labs website to continuously engage with Dev-Afrique with regards to the various initiatives that we are currently implementing in terms of sanitation data system strengthening. But we would also like encourage you, the audience, of course, to join the GWOPA community of practice, like it was earlier mentioned by Just, which of course also I think offers a number of resources and insightful knowledge products that can help you to think through how you can solve some of the critical data challenges and data system needs that you might be facing in your respective institutions. So of course, like I said, you can this entire webinar has been recorded, so it will be shared with all the participants that registered to this, so that you can have reference future reference to it in case you'd want to recap on the discussion that we've had today. And of course, also we encourage you again through the chat to visit the various products that have been posted through the various links and also QR codes that we've shared. So from ourselves, thank you very much, everyone. You've been a wonderful audience, and also thanks very much to our speakers for sharing with us the wonderful MapKit and the wonderful work that we can generate, or the value that we can generate from using and applying this particular tool. So for myself, thanks very much, everyone.